Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwarash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. In today's lesson, we're going to deal with the lake of fire is the destruction of Babylon the Great. The destruction of Babylon the Great is the lake of fire, as you see men complicating, all right, the breakdowns and trying to be too deep. In this lesson, we're going to further prove that the destruction of America, all right, which there's going to be other destructions and chaotic events going on worldwide at that time. The earth itself is going to be, shaken at the presence of the Lord. The earth itself is going to shake at the presence of Babylon the Great. So it's going to mark as a chaotic event. At that time, we've showed you various scriptures. The elect will be delivered. But the doctrine that's creeping in is that basically, America's going to be destroyed. But the lake of fire is a separate judgment after that, to where individuals will be tossed into it. All right. In particular, Israelites will be tossed into it, and they will burn forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, which basically is not scriptural. And we're going to show you that the destruction of Babylon the Great and the lake of fire are the same judgment. Okay. Now, I'm here in the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter, which the Apostle Tahar, did a lesson showing you that Daniel, the 7th chapter, in Revelation, the 19th chapter is the same event. Let me read Daniel, the 7th chapter real quick, because we know the end of Esau's world marks the coming of Yahweh Shai marks the end of Esau's world. And the end of Esau's world will be marked by the revival of the fourth beast, which is the Western Roman Empire. The very system we live in is a revival, all right, of the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. But we know that pursuant to Revelation, the 13th chapter, the dragon, the red dragon, gave him his seat, power, and authority. And that's the Western Roman Empire. And that's the authority that has been reestablished via this Renaissance, which means rebirth. And here in Daniel, the 7th chapter and the 7th verse, you have the fourth beast, okay, which is the Western Roman Empire. But there's another little horn, all right, that ultimately comes up, which that's Babylon the Great, all right. And as you read in these prophecies, the return of Yahweh Shai is marked by the destruction, the fire. Okay, as a matter of fact, Daniel 7 and 9, and I beheld till the thrones were cast down, which is the rulership of the heathen nations, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The Most High God Yahweh makes a decision, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his heads like the pure wool. So the Most High himself, all right, has a head, he has hair, okay? His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire. Okay. A fire stream issued forth and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. Okay. The same thing that we read about, which we did a lesson on the other day in Revelation, the 20th chapter. Okay, the books being open. Let's get that in Revelation, the 20th chapter, where it talks about the books being open. Okay, at the return of Yahweh Shai. Revelation 20 and 11. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was no place found for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life, which ultimately we showed you that's just the final judgment. Okay, it's not like at this time, the Most High is gonna you know, have a book and, people are just going to be standing before him. Basically, the book represents whatever your judgment, which was given unto you from the foundation of the earth, is. You'll get it. Now, when you go back to Daniel 7, all right, remember the Most High, okay, ascending Yahweh Shai, judgment time. All right, and as you read Daniel 7:11, it says, and I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, Babylon the great. You hear their pride even now, right? I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. See that? And that ultimately is marked by the coming of Yahweh Shai. Okay. Now, getting back to the point here in Revelation, the 19th chapter, Salakia. Let's get Revelation, the 19th chapter, because at Yahweh Shai's return, he's coming to make war. Okay, he's coming to make war, and when he comes, we know that, Esau and his armies are going to fight, okay, against the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Revelation 19:19, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. So again, this is the war in heaven. It's time for you Israelites to throw the mythology and the fables away. The men of the Lord are here giving you the understanding. Okay, there is no war that's going to take place in the spiritual realm. The scriptures, all right, tell us, even in our prayer, we want the environment on earth to be as it is in heaven. Okay, the earth is out of order. The heavens are completely in order. We seek to bring the order of the heavens to the earth. Now, at the time that that Yahweh Shai returns, these nations are going to be fighting against him. Okay, and at that time, pursuant to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, right, the elect will be delivered, and Yahweh Shai is going to be shooting fire. There's going to be war going on. Babylon's going to be engulfed in fire. It's going to be a chaotic event. So as you read in verse 20, it says, and the beast was taken with him, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. Basically, when the Most High sends Yahweh Shai, that's the end of this whole demonic wicked system. Okay, and again, there's going to be other places engulfed in fire. Okay, but pretty much the power structure of Esau, Edom is destroyed at this point. Okay, it says, and the beast was taken. Okay, this whole system is going to fall. And the false prophet, which we know is the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, but they're all in cahoots, that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast. See that? And them that worshipped his image, these both were cast alive into a lake of burning fire with brimstone. Okay, so the lake of fire is burning with brimstone. Keep that in mind. All right, so let's go to the book, all right, of Jeremiah. All right, let's see here. Jeremiah 50:35. It said, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. All right, so as you jump down, just to get to the point, all right, I start at 38. A drought is upon her waters. This is speaking of Babylon the Great, right? Because the Neo-Babylonian Empire didn't fall like this. And they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images. All of those idols, all of that wickedness, all that witchcraft, pharmakia. All right. And they are mad upon their idols. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the island shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein, and there shall be, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Okay, this is speaking of Babylon the Great. As God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. So as the Lord God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, such shall Babylon the Great receive the same fate. So how was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? Okay, this is the book of Genesis 19 and 24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. He overthrew those cities and all the plain and the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. Okay. But his wife looked back from behind him and she became a pillar of salt. Okay. And we know in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 10th chapter, it lets you know that this is a monument. This is a memorial. This is a memory that eternally burns. All right. Although it's not physically burning, but it's an eternal memorial and memory. All right. To what happens, not only to those who do wickedness, but to those who look back. Okay. But as you can see here, the common theme is the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire. So let's go back to Revelation, the 19th chapter. Okay. In the 20th verse. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet. They're all going to fall, that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive. See, they're going to be alive into a lake burning with brimstone. See that? Brimstone. Okay. Let's get the book of Isaiah, the 34th chapter, which Deacon Hakah and, Hassad are of the opinion that this is actually speaking of the land of Basra, which we did a video showing you we're going to inhabit via, the Obadiah. We're going to inhabit the cities and the territory of Edom, which is a very important territory to inhabit as a king, as a ruler. Okay, so that land is going to be inhabited. That land is going to be inherited, all right, by the children of Israel to enlarge their borders, right? But Basra, which we did a video, if you've been watching, all right, Basra symbolizes America. This is Isaiah 34 and 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. All right. And it ain't too many Edomites over in the literal landmass of Basra right now. You got Arabs, other heathens, some Edomites, but Esau dwells here. Okay. This is where the bulk of them are at, right here in the Americas. All right. And, Esau's everywhere, but this is the great judgment associated with Esau's fall is the destruction of America, which is likened unto Basra. Okay. It says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams, saith the Lord. For the Lord hath the sacrifice in Basra. Okay. In a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. That symbolizes Babylon the Great. And we're going to prove to you that. All right. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks and the bulls and the ass and the lamb shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. So it's going to be a great slaughter in that land, America. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of the recompenses of the controversy of Zion, for the controversies of Zion. As it says in the book of Baruch, miserable are the cities which thy sons and daughters served. Okay. It says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become a burning pitch. Let's get this in the NLT. As a matter of fact, let's just do it here. All right. Just follow the logic. The streams of Edom will be filled with burning pitch. The ground will be covered with fire. See that? And it is that brimstone is there. Okay. Which is the lake of fire is likened unto brimstone. It says, this judgment on Edom will never end. The smoke of its burning will rise forever. And we know that the Edomites are eventually going to go into captivity. So it's not like they're going to be tormented in fire forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. The elites will scurry into the bunkers, right? And they will be the first fruits of slavery. But even these Edomites that burn here in Babylon and certain parts of the earth, you know, they're not going to burn forever. Okay. It says the land will lie deserted or deserted from generation to generation. No one will live there anymore. And again, this is speaking of the same judgment we read about with Babylon the Great. All right. Jeremiah 50 and 39. And the wild beast of the desert and the wild beasts of the island shall dwell therein, and the owls shall dwell therein, and there shall be no more inhabited forever. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide therein, neither shall there be any son of man dwell therein. Again, let's go back to Isaiah 34. Okay. This judgment in 10, this judgment on Edom will never end. The smoke of his burning will rise forever. Okay. And again, you can get Revelation 19. Okay. Revelation 19. And 2, for true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. And again they said, hallelujah, and her smoke rose up forever and ever. So this is all the same judgment. All right, and we'll go back here, but let's go to Isaiah 34. All right. So the judgment on Edom will never end. The smoke of his burning will rise forever. The land will lie deserted from generation to generation. No one will live there anymore. And this can't be talking about the physical landmass of Basra, because pursuant to the book of Obadiah, if you didn't see it, just get it real quick. Obadiah. All right. Obadiah. Verse 19, then my people living in the Negev will occupy the mountains of Edom. Those living in the foothills of Judah, all right, will possess the plains of the Philistines. So we're going to be occupying the mountains of Edom, which Basra is over there. The King's Highway, all of that. We're going to be occupying that just as our King David did, all right, and Solomon. We're going to inherit those territories. So this here is not speaking of Basra. Okay, you idiots, man. Okay, you guys causing this confusion. And again, the lake of fire is not separate from this judgment we're reading. Okay, the land will lie deserted from generation to generation. No one will live there anymore. It will be haunted by the desert owl and by the screech owl and the great owl and the raven, for God will measure that land carefully. He will measure it for chaos and destruction. Okay, this is the modern day Tophet. Let's get that. Isaiah 30 and 33. For Tophet is ordained of old. Yeah, for the king it is prepared. He hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth kindle it. See that? In Tophet. Okay. All right. The path. All right. All right. It says, place of fire. A place in the south end of the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem. What is the valley of Hinnom? Let's type in Hinnom. All right. We've been getting you that history, because basically the valley of Hinnom, all right, is associated with Gehenna. All right, let's type in hellfire. All right. Matthew 18:9. If thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is better for thee to enter into life with one eye rather than having two eyes and be cast into hellfire. Okay. All right. Gehenna. All right. Gehenna. All right. Which describes a future judgment associated with how Gehenna was. It was perpetually burning bodies. All right. Worms feasting on dead bodies. All right. And the places where the fire didn't get to, the worms would feast on dead bodies, man. Okay. It says hell is the place of a future punishment called Gehenna. All right. Which that's the lake of fire, man. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem. Okay. Where the filth and dead animals of the city were cast out and burned, a fit symbol of the wicked and their future destruction. A symbol. Okay, a symbol. Hanam. Okay, Hanam means lamentation. Okay, so it's going to be a lot of lamentation. Okay. The hill of evil counsel. All right, but again, what do we read in Isaiah? Tophet is a place of fire, man. All right, a place of fire, man. Associated with the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is Gehenna. So again, this is a particular place on earth that's going to be destroyed. Okay. Esau is the modern day Assyrian. Okay. But again, Tophet is ordained of old. So the Lord have ordained this place for a complete and utter fire, man. With brimstone. See that? With brimstone. Okay. Let's get the book of Revelation 11:6. Upon the wicked, all right, he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone in a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. See that? Brimstone, man. Luke 17:29. But the same day Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Again, Revelation, the 19th chapter, tells you that the lake of fire is burning with brimstone because it is the destruction of Babylon the Great. See that? Synonymously, the armies of the heathen are going to be destroyed wherever they are. And a remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat on a horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So as you go up, okay, when Yahushua returns with the angels, okay, Michael being one of the high-ranking members in that military, Revelation 19:15, out of his mouth, started in 14, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treaded the winepress with the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty God. He treaded the winepress, which can be associated with Isaiah, the 63rd chapter. Okay. Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? That is that is glorious in his apparel, the chariots traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. See that? Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, which is symbolizing the destruction. He's not going to get blood on him. Yahushua, come on now. But it's symbolizing the great slaughter. And thy garments like him that treadeth in the winefat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, because he's going to deliver his elect from it. All right, everybody else is subject to judgment. Those who stay alive will scurry to wherever they scurry to. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will slain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Okay. And it's not like Yahweh Shah is going to come back. Let's get Isaiah 9 and jump off the chariot with a physical sword. All right. Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Fuel of fire. See that? It's going to be with fuel of fire, man. So you people don't know what you're talking about. And that's associated with the great judgment of Babylon the Great, which is going to be destroyed. All right. Isaiah 13 and 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And that was by brimstone, fire and brimstone. Okay. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. You see? And again, it's going to be a chaotic event, man. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. This is eventually when the smoke, when the fire, society is going to be just inhabited. Pretty sure it's going to be smoke over it. It's going to be a eerie, creepy place, but it's going to be a memorial for remembrance of what happened, all right, to this place that greatly rebelled against the Lord, man. Okay, and all the souls tied to the judgment of Babylon the Great and the judgment that took place that weren't beamed up. You Israelites, all right, you're always going to be tied to this. Okay? And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days will not be prolonged. See, this is going to be a chaotic event. Okay? But for some reason, it's not enough for Jake. They want after this, instead of what the Lord prescribes to happen after this, which is eventually New Jerusalem comes down and sets up order, purge out the rebels that are around. Jake wants a hell, like a big river full of fire where people are just tormented forever. Nah, man. Jeremiah 50 and 46. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and a cry is heard among the nations. The earth is going to be moved. Okay, Isaiah 24. All right, Isaiah 24. Let's see here. Man, for all of that wickedness, man. In 19, the earth is broken down utterly. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Esau's world is done at the return of the Lord, man. And as you keep reading, those who were on high, the elite, okay, they're going to be gathered together eventually, because Revelation 6 tells you at that great destruction, they're going to go into the bunkers. Now, let's get Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. This is how the Lord is going to deliver his people. Okay? Habakkuk 3 and 4. And his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hand. There was the hiding of his power, those chariots. Before him went pestilence, and burning coals went before his feet. He stood and measured the earth, and beheld. He drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. So it's going to be a slaughter, man. Okay? He's going to smite the heathen. But it's all fixated around the destruction of Babylon the Great, which is going to be burned with what? It's going to be a burnt mountain. Jeremiah 51 and 25. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyed all the earth. I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. See that? A burnt mountain, man. Okay? This is the legacy, all right, of coming from Babylon. Verse 37, and Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place of dragons and astonishment and hissing without an inhabitant. See that? So this is the same judgment that we've been reading about. All right, up on Edom, Basra. It's Babylon. Okay? Point blank period, man. It's going to be covered in fire. Okay? Verse 41. How is Shishak taken? How is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How has Babylon become an astonishment? Okay? Verse 40, it says, I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams to the he-goats. Now, when you look up the meaning of Basra, let's get Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34 and 6. Let's look up Basra. All right. Batazara, sheepfold or fortress. Again, this all symbolizes Babylon. Okay, who's going to be slaughtered. Okay, a town in Edom, the capital of Edom, when you go into it. Okay, sheepfold, and this is where the great destruction is going to take place, man. So when you go into with the lake of fire, right? Let's just type it in. Let's just type in lake of fire. There we go, right here. As a matter of fact, let's get Revelation 14, right? Because when Esau goes down and that destruction happens, there's going to be Israelites associated with that judgment. Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed him, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his hand or in his forehead, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. See, this is talking about America's destruction right here. That's gonna be you know, again, as I said, was slain 7,000 men. Let's get that. Boom. Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And in the same hour there was a great earthquake, because what is going to be the Babylon is going to fall. The scriptures, we showed you the precepts, and there's more. And the 10th part of the city fell, Babylon, the zip code 0 to 9. And in the earthquake were slain 7,000 men, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. So that 7,000 is symbolizes a complete number of people, all right, that are going to be in the lake. Okay, it's going to be the heathen. It's going to be the Edomites. It's going to be the other heathen. It's going to be Israelites. Jake, the 2/3, right? It says, and they shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, because pursuant to Psalms 91, and 8, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Again, we're going to be on those chariots looking down at this judgment. Okay? Revelation 15 and 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. Okay, so we're going to be on the chariot, but we're going to be able to look down and see. We're going to have new bodies. It ain't like we're going to need binoculars. We're going to be passing each other binoculars. No, we're going to be able to look down and see the judgment. It's going to be like, whoa. And them that had gotten victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark. See, those who took it, we're going to be looking at their judgment. But it's the lake that burneth with fire. Okay. That's going to be America. Okay. And over the number of his name and over the standing on the sea of glass. So we're going to be standing in the way he's seeing it is the chariot, the floor of it is transparent. So we'll be able to look down at the wicked being destroyed. And we're going to be singing the song of Moses, which is what? Victory. Okay, just like when Pharaoh and his army was drowned in Egypt, all right, the Israelites sung victory, praises of victory. Even Miriam had a solo. We were happy. Well, how much more when we get delivered out of this place? All right, and the brothers and sisters from the different places surrounded about. So again, it's all the same judgment, man. Revelation 20:10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever. And again, when you look up this word forever, all right, because how are we going to put them in captivity if they burn it forever? How are they going to learn the laws if they burn forever? Okay, forever. Okay, aeon. Forever, unbroken age, perpetuity of time. What does perpetuity mean? A bond or other security with no fixed maturity date. Again, we showed you. All right, let's get Ecclesiastes 3:14. Okay. Shout out to that brother Tazama out there in Memphis. All right, Tazama. It says Ecclesiastes 3:14. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth it, in all right, that men should fear before him. So again, it could mean universe. It can mean a period of time. It can mean an age as well. See that? So forever and ever don't mean that people are going to be tormented. See, this is all symbolism. And again, it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. So if hell is the lake of fire, how is it? What does this mean? It's going into the end of Esau's world, man. The last enemy. Okay. 1 Corinthians 15:26, the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. And that's fulfilled in us getting the new covenant. See, when that destruction happens, we go up into the chariot and get the new body. Death will no longer have any dominion over us. And death is fulfilled in Esau, the serpent. It is through his energy. It is through that old serpent that Eve and Adam, or Adam and Eve, sinned. And we have to deal with the flesh. We have to deal with death. We have to deal with all of this confusion. All of that is going to be cast into the lake of fire. Okay, this age is going to be done, right? And we get the new bodies, and then we're able to come to the earth in those new bodies. See that? So Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and the sorcerers and the adulterers and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So the lake that burneth with fire and brimstone is the second death. And that's the destruction of Babylon the Great. Okay, because how is Babylon the Great prophesied to be taken out? As Sodom and Gomorrah. How was Sodom and Gomorrah taken out? All right. It was rained upon it fire and brimstone. What is the lake of fire associated with? Fire and brimstone. See that? And 2/3 of our people are going to burn in that lake. Okay. Point blank period. And that is the second death. See that? Those who have the first resurrection will be saved from this chaotic environment. Okay, those who don't, okay, they will be a part of this judgment. And let's get Wisdom of Solomon 10 in the GNT to end it off. Wisdom of Solomon 10 and 6. Wisdom rescued a righteous man while ungodly people were dying. You see that? And we are in the stead of Lot, which Lot was of the chosen lineage. He was a son of God. Okay. He was one of the sons of God. Okay. When he comes back as an Israelite. Okay. Which he's here today. Okay. It says he escaped the flames that destroyed the 5 cities. You can still see the evidence of their wickedness. The land there is barren and smoking, but is it literally smoking? All right. We know in Jude, it says Sodom and Gomorrah suffered eternal fire. The land there is barren and smoking. The plants bear fruit that never ripen, and a pillar of salt stands as a monument to one who did not believe. See, if you look back, the people of those cities ignored wisdom and could not tell right from wrong. This is where we are today. Not only that, but the remains of their cities still remind us of the foolish way they live, so that their failure can never be forgotten. But wisdom rescued her servant from danger. So again, whenever we see Babylon, right? As let's say they're gonna hiss. Let's get that. Jeremiah 50 and 13. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. So people are gonna always remember what happened there. It's going to remind us of the foolish way they lived. And in that sense, it's an eternal judgment. Jude verse 7, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth of an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. See that? A lot of you scoffers are going to be in that fire. And y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong, man. The word eternal.
Strong's G 166. Ionios. Ionios.
Yeah, it says since the world began. Forever, without beginning and end. That which has always been and always will be. That's the Lord's judgment. It's eternal. Okay? Without beginning, without end, never to cease, everlasting. Okay? Those are things that could also mean. Okay? But again, period of time, age. Okay? Perpetuity. I gotta look more into this word because it's like I've been reading it. A bond of security with no fixed maturity date. Yep. Something that lasts forever. And again, the Lord's judgment is forever. So I just wanted to get into that, the aspect of fire and brimstone. Okay. Is, the missiles, the fire from the chariots. Okay. But, it's the destruction of Babylon the Great. Okay. It's the destruction of Babylon the Great. Also, we know the land of Israel is going to be burning. Okay. But, we'll leave it there, man. Hopefully I'll edify it. On to the next. Shalom.